Hello there, and welcome to the Impzone podcast. We're back again to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And today I want to talk about the inspiration winning the Knockouts titles on this week's episode of TV. Now, I do feel very much like that was going to happen at Victory Road. The titles were potentially going to change with the hindsight of seeing this happen here. So, but like, I actually think that this was really the wrong call here. I don't know how you can change things up or how you could have kept the story going in some ways, but it's only 2 weeks, guys, as well. But still, I feel like you had to escalate it to a no DQ or some sort of other match for them to be, or some more stuff on the line and whatnot. So now you're going to go into Bound for, not only did they just win the titles on TV, which I understand there was circumstances that they had to say, right, well, we need a new champion and, all this stuff to work to Bound for Glory, so we need to put in some minutes or hours, whatever it is now, and we need to use as many people on our roster as what we can to try to make that, scenario feel like, even though when I'm looking at it, it's like, none of, only two or three of these people I feel like have any potential to be in that conversation. The rest of the people here are tag team people. So it's like you're not realistically going to take somebody from that tag team position and then say, okay, it's really tough because, again, you could do that. You could try to push somebody really hard if you work with them in that. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying if you say, okay, we're gonna go this route, it is very much well, you're up against it. I get that the whole Masha Slamovich thing was probably not helpful, but I don't know whether it has quietened things down a little bit in some ways, but they needed to deal with that issue of saying, hey, well, who's going to challenge at Bound for Glory? And then Ash is like, hey, I'm retiring. So I think they got hit with a double whammy. So it is really hard. It's like, we had I think they had all those plans, but even if you had the plan of saying, oh, okay, we're going to switch you guys with the titles and that had worked out, I think that's really dumb because, again, Bound for Glory is only 2 more weeks away. Do it at the biggest show. Do it at the biggest pay-per-view. Now what are you going to do at the biggest pay-per-view? Just some random rematch? You could, again, put, some stipulation on it. That'll help it, I guess, but it's just a random... Well, not random, but it is just a rematch. Maybe if it's a really good stipulation, or I don't know what else you can do because it's got to stand out from a lot of the other stuff that's kind of on the card. But the thing of it is, it's well, they've just won the title, so it's they're not going to lose them. So you've really got to give them a stipulation that, and you've got to give the Elegance brand a really big, push for at least a week or two or something to try to get and that's only really 1 week because they just this week lost. So, that's really hard for them to turn back around and then win, next week, to go in and say, hey, what, we won our rematch at Bound for Glory, that's all you're probably going to get, and then what is it going to be? It's got to be a match that suits the Elegance brand in some ways. So, but yeah. No, I just think that maybe all around it was just a lot of poor decision making, because if you had have stretched it out, again, it's tough to keep stretching it out, but again, just don't freaking do it then. Don't even freaking do it. Don't just say, okay, it's been moved to Bound for Glory. Would have been much more simple that if it had been just moved to Bound for Glory and you had have said, okay, we already know that that's where it's going to be and all of this sort of stuff and whatnot. Then you can say, okay, the next pay-per-view or whatever else it is, is the rematch. So maybe that'll get a stipulation or whatever, and that'll maybe bring a little bit more eyes to it. The problem of one of the biggest problems, and I've said it a billion times probably by now, is that division is like the tag division is really thin, and it actually would have worked better if they hadn't won it in some ways, because you've just got the Angel Warriors sort of tag team going now, and it's like, hey, you've got no real other heel teams other than the Elegance brand. So I was like, what the heck is going on? You really need like some more like heel teams, as like you all probably also need some more babyface teams, but still like you need a lot more people in that division. It's crazy with like how certain things look in certain regards, but like yeah, like I don't think that this is the worst thing in the world ever, but it's just another thing that they should have thought a little bit more about and said, no, 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 wait, whoa. Yes, we can do this match on TV, but why are we doing it on TV? What's the payoff? Or why are we going with them into Bound for Glory as the champions? Like, maybe, maybe it's that they want the rematch to happen there, or maybe they're debuting more teams or something. I don't know. I hope so, because like that's something that they need. Maybe they want, the titles on the Inspiration while they're going to WWE, like in a week or whatever it bloody well is. I don't even remember when it bloody is. But I think this upcoming episode airs after that episode. So, and I don't know when the Invasion show actually starts, because I actually thought that the Invasion show was this Tuesday. So I was like, oh, okay, great, cool. And it's crazy as well, because like a lot of their stuff, although this is not really I'd say it's a joint show, but it's like they're having so many goddamn shows left, right, and friggin' center all the friggin' time. That it's just insane. It's just like they've got so much going on, and it's just like I cannot keep up with, because they just had No Mercy, and now it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna have another pay-per-view or PLE or whatever you want to call them, in another week. Like, dudes, you just had a pay-per-view or PLE or whatever you want to bloody well call them, one of these special shows that people have to come to on a Friday, Saturday, or a Sunday that costs more than the other regular TV broadcast shows. That's what they are. Like, so again, you're expecting to turn people around that quickly. Like, again, I get it. There's a lot of not, well, I'd say hype, but there's a lot of like stuff going into it. You've got the Hardys and Dark State for both tag team titles. I kind of feel like I don't want to talk too much about this, but I just want to sort of mention it. I feel like that's more likely to end in DQ than anything else. And like, to me, again, if you say, oh, well, why are the Hardys winning the belts? I don't know, dude. Does that make any sense? And like, Dark State have only just won their titles too. So it's like, what the heck? Like, surely they're not losing them this soon. But then again, WWE has ADHD booking, so I don't bloody know. So again, like, you could see that the Hardys lose their belts, maybe, but like, again, like, then that screws up Bound for Glory with like, them not having the titles. So it's like, this is a terrible, or at least I think that it's this week, or at least maybe next week. I'm not too sure. It's one of these 2 weeks, I don't know which, that they're having that title v title match. So that feels very much like, what the heck is going on there? Either the Hardys are going to go in with an extra belt that, their opponents, Thursday 7th. Is this, I think it's 7th. That's not right, because this Thursday is like the 3rd or something. Yeah, it's like the 2nd. So it's next week. Yeah, the week, like, wait, 7th? They mean 9th or 8th. Tuesday. Ah, Tuesday. I thought it said TH. TU. Oh, Tuesday. Ah, I'm not reading it right. Whatever. Same thing, different different thing, completely different. But whatever. Again, like, it's not even a proper pay-per-view. Like, it's just a special TV episode, I guess. You know, but whatever. This is only like a few days before Bound for Glory, so either the Hardys are going to go within two sets of titles, and no TNA wrestler has won a WWE owned title as of yet, or the Hardys are going in with no titles, and then you're going to have Dark State, as the TNA champions, or you're going to have a DQ or some other screwy finish that means no titles change hands. That's what they did like last week with the TNA and the NXT title. But then again, if they do that this week, it's sort of like, well, that's really the same thing, different suit type thing. You're doing the same thing again and again. Like, you can't have a winner cleanly or clearly, with this. Like, it's crap when you can't just have clean winners. Like, at a certain point. But yeah, like, certainly, like, you could do it a couple times, but when you do it a couple times, like, back to back, it's like, wow, bro, come on. Give us one or two little things here, and that's why you shouldn't book things like this, or you should say, let's wait a week or two, or let's let this simmer, or let's let them finish their show, and then let's say, okay, let's do this thing, or whatever it is. So, but yeah. The 5-on-5 men's tag team thing and the 5-on-5 women's tag team thing, that's where I was trying to sort of say, this is what not next week, but yeah, whatever, that these girls might be into, because, like, if you have the Inspiration, who were WWE superstars, going over there as the TNA Knockouts champions or tag team champions, then you're like, okay, they're representing the brand. So it's much more about, like, showcasing the talent and saying, hey, these are some guys that you guys used to know, sort of thing. So, and then that's another reason why to say, hey, it's the Hardys holding the TNA tag titles, because it's like, hey, here's these guys that people knew from a few years ago, or whatever it was, and they're still going at it, but they're TNA guys right now. So that's one of the few positives that I could say with the Hardys and with this title change. So yeah, I don't know, dudes. I'm it's such a weird situation in some ways. I think, yeah, so maybe it was that thought of saying, well, we've got to have them on WWE as the champions, so they're gonna win, like, the titles this week, which is, I don't know, third, fourth, whatever it is, fourth. Well, the fifth, we're the fifth here, but whatever. And then you're going to have them appear on NXT on the, oh no, this is like, am I looking at the right date? Where's the dates? Where am I? October. Where are we? Help. I've gotten confused. So yeah, so they're gonna win them on the second, third this week, whatever. So next week they're there on WWE on the 7th. Then you've got 8th, 9th, 10th, and then the 12th for them to, do something at Bound for Glory. So that, I think, is what the situation is. That's probably why they did it this way. But it's so crazy, and this is again why I'm like, they should have waited for TNA to do their thing and be like, okay, we're going to do Bound for Glory, then we'll do this, so that our timelines and things aren't mucked up. And that's why I keep saying you can't keep bending over for WWE to say, hey, this is how we want it, or this is who we want, and this is when we want them. You can still have them, guys, but it's another week. Wait another week. You can wait one more week. You're already kicking AEW's ass. You do not need to do this before Bound for Glory and screw up TNA's friggin' storylines just to friggin', pop ratings, whatever. That's my problem with it. Not as much, there is some other problems, obviously, we've talked about them about a billion times, that there's basically no tag teams in that division and whatnot. So, and it was this is a silly move and whatnot, just because they're trying to appease WWE, and that's what I don't want. I just am sick of the whole, let's appease WWE and do what they ask and whatever. Tell them to wait a week. Wait another week, guys. It's actually only a few days after that. So not even a week, really. It's it's from whatever it is, Saturday to Tuesday. So it would be on the 16th, 17th. So, oh no, that's not, I'm looking at the wrong month. The 14th, 15th. So again, it's 3 days. 3 days, guys. Wait 3 days. For God's sakes, the ADHD booking is crazy, and they're so into the weeds of trying to beat AEW all the goddamn time that it's for frick's sake, who cares? You're probably gonna beat them with your eyes closed anyway, and even if you don't, who cares? It's your third brand. If you really want to beat them, put it, put something else there. You can do anything, or just have a face-off and then do it next week. I said that this thing has no real build-up. Yes, it does, kind of, because they've been going at each other for a year or whatever it's been, or more. I don't even know now. But it's the thing itself has had no build-up. You literally announced it, at No Mercy, and, there were maybe rumors of it, bit before that, but that was only last Saturday, Sunday, whatever it was. So it's only really been in the works for a week. So guys, come on, build it up a bit more. Don't just go, and it's if it was its own pay-per-view again, okay, cool. It's its own thing, that's happening. Not just, this is a special episode of TNA called it, of NXT called in TNA Invasion or whatever. Whoop-de-frickin' do. It's not a pay-per-view. No one cares. Really. I mean, it's great in some ways that it's free, but then again, it's well, what are you doing? You're taking your time out to do this other thing. That it doesn't really affect your show. I don't know, but whatever. Guys, that is my ramble. That is my rant for this one. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Hope you join me again in another one.